All right, let's talk a little bit now about valence electrons. Valence electrons are the outermost electrons in an atom. These are the electrons in the highest energy levels. In general, atoms are more stable when they have 8 or an octet of valence electrons. A couple of exceptions to this are hydrogen and helium in the first period of the periodic table, which can only hold 2 valence electrons. We learned earlier that atoms are more stable if they have the same number of electrons as a noble gas. All of the noble gases, except helium, have 8 valence electrons, which is why they are so stable. The number of valence electrons corresponds to an element's group on the periodic table. Elements in the center, where you see nothing here, and at the bottom parts of the periodic table, those transition metals, can have varying numbers of valence electrons. Otherwise, these first two groups have 1 and 2 valence electrons respectively. Over in the main group on the right side, starting with group 13, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Right here is that exception that we talked about, helium, which has 2. All right, so remember that atoms that do not have 8 valence electrons would be more stable if they had 8 electrons. And so chemical reactions happen in order to make those atoms more stable. Atoms can get to those 8 valence electrons by adding or removing electrons. So if we add more electrons, so this element here with 6 valence electrons could add 2 to get to 8, or atoms can get to 8 valence electrons by losing electrons. So if this atom right here starts with 2, if we lose 1, lose 2, then we go back to the previous period, and now we have 8 valence electrons.